Hi guys, it's Sari here at Sari Luna Designs. I am in Seattle, Washington, live streaming, and I would love to share some tips for you to be able to access some of your art skills or actually gain some art skills and make art accessible for you. I know a lot of people don't know where to start when they're trying to make some artwork. So I have a question for you. If you wanted to create a piece of artwork, what is the one thing that's stopping you? If you're watching this live, go ahead and put that down in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And of course, if you have questions about anything, put that in the comments below as well. I just wanted to do this live stream so that if you've ever wanted to make artwork and you just didn't know where to start, you can make art, and I want you to know that this is possible. So type yes if that's you. If you've been wanting to make some artwork but you just didn't know where to start, go ahead and type yes in the chat. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to share that there are ways for you to grow art skills even if you don't have talent. And notice the difference between the verbiage there. There's skills and there's talent. And talent infers that you have this innate sense of artistic ability, and talent infers that it just comes naturally to you. Well, that's true with a lot of people. If you don't practice your art skills, a lot of times people that aren't innately talented can surpass people who are just by practicing. So I want to encourage you that if you feel like you're not talented, don't worry. You just have to show up and do the work and practice. So that's all I have to say about that. So do you get the urge to be creative? And if so, when was the last time that you got creative? Oh, we've got a few people in the chat here. Hi guys, Holly's here from Oregon. She's chiming in. We've got Melody. Oh, I guess I'm sideways on your screen. If you're on your phone, go up to the top and turn off auto rotate, and you should be able to move your phone one way and be able to view it. I know I did a landscape orientation. So you're also sideways, you guys. Yeah, go ahead and turn off your auto rotate and rotate your phone if that's what you're viewing on. That should be able to help you guys. But for this purpose, I needed the horizontal orientation just to show you guys what I'm doing here. So hopefully that works out for you. And I wanted to let you guys know that for me, the hardest part of making artwork is just sitting down and getting started. So a lot of times we just have this mindset that stops us from sitting down and getting started. So Melody's saying that worked, and Holly's saying that she's on a laptop. So I'm not sure what to do for the laptop. But basically, unwillingness to allow yourself to be a beginner is what can really stop you from trying new things, and this applies to everything, including artwork. So a lot of times we're unwilling to try and maybe make a mistake or mess up. But really all that you need to get started is just a tablet of paper and a pen or a pencil. And you really don't need any fancy tools. If you do have a compass or a protractor or a ruler, it's really helpful. However, today all that you really need is some circular objects, like I have a bowl and a cup and a smaller cup. And in lieu of a ruler, you can just use another hard straight surface like this watercolor tab. So what I have here is just a normal piece of copy paper, and we're going to just kind of go through and practice making a little mandala. So it's just going to be trying our hand at doodling, and it's going to be pretty fun. Rigo's saying bring them up on camera. I'm not sure what he means. Bring what up on camera? So yeah, thank you guys for joining me. If you are just joining, I am asking you, if you wanted to create a piece of artwork, what is the #1 thing that's stopping you from creating art? I would love to address this in future videos. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. So without further ado, I'm going to just show you guys a really, really quick and dirty drawing trick, this little doodle trick. And if you just go into this thinking that this is a practice run or this is just an exercise that's really helpful, I'm going to go ahead and use my bowls instead of my compass. This just helps you draw a circle and you can adjust it. But we'll just go ahead and put the biggest circular object we have on our paper, and with pencil I'm just going to go through and mark all the way around it. And now you see I have, oops, you actually can't see. I'm going to have to move this. Oh no, you guys can't see my lines. Well, let's do it with pen. Well, cool, this is a test run anyway. Oops. So this is going to be super fun because it's really quick. There, can you guys see the circle now? I think you can. Let me grab a marker. Alright, so this is going to make this really cool. So, since that showed up easier, let's do this so you guys can really see what I'm doing here. I'm going to use this marker instead. And if you're doing this at home, you can trace with a pencil so that you can go through later and erase it. But once I have my big circle in there, I'm going to take one of my smaller objects and I'm going to go ahead and try and center it as easily as I possibly can. And when you're doing that, it's easy if you look at it from, you know, basically north, south, east, west, and you can kind of see how much overlap you have on the sides. But I'm just going to really quickly come in here. And now we have a circle inside of a circle. And then I have another little tiny cup. And I'm going to do another little circle. So we're just going to use this as a base of our mandala. And if you have a handle on it, you can just rotate it out of the way. And now I've got this interesting, not really very targety looking target. And if you have a ruler, you can measure, if you remember this verbiage from school, the diameter of your circle. If you don't have a ruler, you can just do what I'm doing and grab a book and just kind of find the halfway point and kind of look at it here and there. And again, using your marker, just mark the halfway point. I'm actually going to use this. Okay, so now we've got this kind of off-centered crosshairs, but that's okay. I'm going to have an off-center mandala, and if you're doing this for the first time, yours might be off-center too, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just think of this as an exercise. It's just going to be kind of something fun we can do. Once I do that, I'm just going to go ahead and put another little circle marking the center, and I'm going to go ahead and fill it in. If you are watching this now, you can go ahead and grab stuff and follow along with me, or you can just do a little replay. And if you're going to do this drawing after the live stream has finished, go ahead and type yes and put it in the comment box below. I'd love to know who's going to actually come through and do the drawing afterward. So, and then at this point, it's all just up to you. All I'm going to be doing is adding some swirls and all I'm going to be doing is add some swirls and some lines and some dots, and we're just going to kind of compile it together and make like a really, just a nice little doodle for you. Sometimes you can do this when you're watching TV. I'm just going to go ahead and start at the center, and I'm going to do a sideways line from the center all the way out to the edge of the first circle. And this is going to give us this interesting kind of almost daisy. If you want, you can actually make it into a daisy and just do a line on the opposite side. of each division point. Okay, once we do that, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a little V. Oops, can you guys see this very well? There, this might be easier. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to add a V in between all of my little petals. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is just for fun. And because it's kind of lopsided, we might get kind of an interesting like warped effect. It looks almost like this is closer and this is like angled backward, leaning back. That's okay too. So now, because of the size difference, I'm just going to do little dots. And I'm going to make the dots in here a little bigger so that it fills up more of the space. So we're just working with what we have. And now that's the start of my mandala. It's already starting to look kind of interesting, but because I have these lines through my petals, I kind of want to add more lines. So we'll just add more lines, one on each half of the petal, to kind of hide the fact that we have our guidelines there. So we'll just work that into the design here. So now we've got something kind of resembling more of a mandala. We've got a couple lopsided things, but that's okay. Doesn't have to be perfect. So now we can think about maybe reflecting things over this line, like maybe this diamond here can be reflected over the line up to the next circle point, and then we'll just throw in another little dot. So we'll just do that all the way around and just see what kind of we come up with here. I was kind of playing around with this a little bit before we started, but to be honest, I don't do a lot of mandalas. I've worked with some in my paintings, but it's just a fun little exercise to do something just on the fly. This is literally just a doodle. And what's cool about using the marker, especially if you have a black marker and you have some colored pencils or crayons laying around, is you can color this in afterward, and then you've made some cool quarantine art for yourself. So one thing we can do, I kind of like this negative space here, so we can move on, and if we want to add something later, maybe we decide that the white space is a little weird, we can fill it in later, but I'm kind of liking it. So I'm going to come out here to my outer circle, and I'm going to bring in a swirl. It's almost like it bulges, it's like angled inward, and then you angle it back out. So one way that might be easier for you to make this shape is to mark the center of the space above it and use that as kind of a guideline. It can be really helpful to use guidelines for ourselves when we're drawing lines like that. So let's see, how else could we help ourselves? So just remember, you're going to curve. It's just like you're making a graph in algebra. You know, I liked the way my other one went better when I was starting from the inside. I think it's easier for me to start from the center, curve it inward, and then pull it upward to the point. So start at that, curve it inward, and just pull it up to that point. And that's kind of, this was the one where I tried a different technique. It didn't work so well, so it's okay if that happens. Just kind of learn from it and move on. And once we get this whole thing filled in, it's not going to be as noticeable. So that's cool too. So again, it worked better for me to start from the inside and just really quickly coming up here. This is just our quick and dirty Facebook live stream mandala, just to help you guys get a little creative. A lot of times I've been hearing a lot lately that, you know, people are bored and they're at home, and I personally haven't been bored in years, but I think because of that, the reason why I haven't been bored in years is because I have a hobby that I like to engage in. I have a craft that I've been honing and working on. So this is kind of looking like a trippy sunflower now at this point. This is looking kind of fun. But yeah, when you have hobbies and things to turn to, you can get really excited about making things and being creative. And a lot of times people feel like, well, I'm not creative or I can't be creative. But there are creative skills that can be learned. Look how quickly we've just made this. And as you noticed while I was drawing as we went ahead, it wasn't perfect. It's not perfect. But once you just keep going and get past the point of, oh man, that looks weird, I don't really like how that looks, you can see that as a whole, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to consistently move forward. So I think that's important when we're learning new skills. It's okay to be a beginner. And maybe you do this and you're just like, this is stupid, I really don't like this. But then you get a little bit of a drawing bug and you decide to make another one. And then the next one you make is just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And then every one that you make after that gets a little better. So I've gone and added an additional little petal layer. I really like that. So I'm going to go and add one more. And these aren't perfect. That's okay. Whoops. Well, that one's really wonky. Oh, yeah, there we go. Add a little dot in the center. Just keep the dot motif going. I kind of want to add more stripes. And because on the outside I have some of the overhang from this circle, I think I'm looking at patterns behind me. I saved patterns to kind of look at. It's good to have reference images. I have a bunch of mandalas pulled up that I like, and so I'm just like, I'll pick one element from one and add it in. I'll pick an element from another. And I don't know, let's do, I kind of want to do something with the center here. Like it divides this, but I think if we do, oh, so because this turns out to be the invert of this shape, let's go ahead and do it again. So starting at the point of the outer petal, I'm going to pull one up and meet in the center of this line here, and I'm going to pull it down. And see how close I am to this edge? That's okay. I'll just kind of make a squished one. So he's just shorter. And then this overhang from the circle is getting taken care of. And we're also creating symmetry here because this shape is then flipped upside down and then we're adding it again. So that's kind of fun. Quick and dirty mandalas. Okay, so that's interesting. It's just getting more and more interesting the more and more layers you add, and I actually really like that. I still want to add something in the center. Possibly if I add an additional line coming through, I can add like maybe a star. Let's go ahead and try that. Oh, we've got Mac in the chat. What's up, man? We've got all kinds of people tuning in. Glad you guys are here. I'm just doing a little quick and dirty Facebook mandala doodle so that if you have been wanting to get into drawing and you don't know where to start, this is just like a really quick way. Whoops, there we go. There's a real, and you know, if that happens, you can just make it a thicker line. So just add it. If you make a mistake, just add it to your design. So because of that, I gotta thicken this line. And I don't really know that I like how that turned out, but that's okay. Whoopsies. Yeah, I don't like that. But if I do it on all of it, I might like it. So let's just keep going with it. So sometimes being consistent is the best way to get something new going. Oh, here, I'm going to thicken this circle line too. Yeah, so if you do something you don't necessarily like it, you have a couple options. You can, find some whiteout. You can trash the whole project and start over. But if you've gotten this far in a project, it's a good idea to just stay consistent and duplicate it around, because it could possibly work. You never know. And as you train your eye, you'll be able to know sooner if it's going to work or not. So as I'm doing it, oh, see, now it's actually pulling in the internal part out here by having the thick line. So that's kind of cool. So again, I didn't like that at first. I added another one, and now I like it more. So do as I say. Experiment, play, have fun with it. It's okay. You're not going to... You can always make another one. Got time. Got your whole lives ahead of you to make some more artwork. So for those of you that are maybe not familiar with me, I am a local Seattle artist and creative painting instructor. I have been teaching painting workshops for over 4 years now. I've taught over 3,030 people, I think is the number now. I've taught over 3,030 people how to paint. Wow, just the amount of workshops that I've taught, or I haven't tallied that up yet, but I've taught a lot of workshops over the last almost 4.5 years or so, and I have been teaching locally here in Seattle, and what I'm doing is I have a creative book club that we meet just about every week now, and we read about creativity and how to tap into it, because a lot of the problems people encounter with making art is that they have more of a mental block to it than anything. So we talk about a lot of that kind of stuff, and it really helps me with my teaching, and it even helps me in my own practice, because the best way to learn something is to teach it. So here we are, fast forward however many years, and I'm starting to do more stuff online here so that we can get people at home in quarantine tapping into their creativity, because we're not doing workshops in person any longer. I did manage to do one outdoors with masks required and social distancing, but I was only really comfortable doing it outdoors with everything going on right now, so we're just going to move it online. So check out my YouTube page. If you go to SariLunaDesigns.com, there's social media links there. You can go to my Facebook page and watch live streams. You can go to my YouTube page and watch live streams. And I'm going to be doing a free webinar here in November. I'm gathering a lot of really, really good tips and tricks for you guys. So if you like this, you're going to want to tune in for my webinar. Oh, Holly's here too. Hi, Hollers. So Holly's here from Oregon, Max here from Nevada. We have Nick, and he's here in Maple Valley, Black Diamond. We've got Edna. We've got all kinds of people watching. I'm glad you guys are able to tune in. Hopefully you're gonna get a creative bug and do some artwork after the live stream. Just kind of fill in. Just doing some quick and dirty tools. If you guys are just tuning in, I used bowls and cups to make my circles. So really, really simple stuff. Everyone has this at home. Pen and paper, you know. You don't need a lot. You just need a little time to doodle. So, Holly's over there button mashing. Wonder if one of her kids got a hold of her phone. But anyway, yeah, so this is just about it. We might want to, if you want to, you can even fill in the whole page. Fill in the whole page with a doodle, and then, like I said, like, you can grab some colored pencils or whatever and color it in at the end, and you've made your very own quick and easy mandala. I think because this is so thick out here that we need to add a little bit more. So I'm just gonna trace around, leaving a little bit of a border here. And add just a little more. You can just keep going. It doesn't have to stop. Fill in that whole page. I'm getting a little lopsided, but you know. That's what happens when you draw off to the side. And it can look like it's going over the page. Hang it on your fridge, you know. Hi, Keith. Keith's here. Oh, I guess that was Mr. Holmes is here as well. Oh, you guys. So yeah, let me know. Are you guys gonna do a little mandala? Just do it really quick. Make it quick and dirty. Add some dots on the outside. You just keep going. Holy moly. So yeah, if you liked this, definitely go to my website, SariLunaDesigns.com, and subscribe, because I'm going to be sending out an email when I'm going to be doing a live 1-hour free webinar. I don't typically teach for free, so this is a really cool opportunity for you guys. If you are interested in some fun, quick and easy art techniques and how to, kind of some brain hacks too, on how to get in and get started. So again, I was asking that question too. If you wanted to create a piece of artwork, what is the #1 thing that stops you? Melody says yes, she's going to be making her own mandala. That's awesome. I'm super excited. Melody has been to my workshops. In fact, she was at my last workshop, and she's been painting with me for a while, so I'm glad you ended up coming out and checking this out. Rigo, he was at my last workshop too. He says this was fun. Yeah, no, I'm glad you guys got to tune in. Just really quick, I think for the next, I'm gonna be coming on here doing some really quick doodles here, showing you guys some really quick tricks for how to get to drawing. One thing that's really important about drawing that I really want you guys to know is that if you don't draw, myself included, like I haven't been drawing a lot, so if I don't draw a lot, the first time I sit down and pick up that pen, you go, oh man, this is not good. And you just can start in on being negative on yourself. And what's really important is if you just spend 5 minutes a day, pick up, you know, a little piece of paper and you just draw for 5 minutes, what you'll notice is even after the first week, you're going to notice a huge difference in your hand-eye coordination, your dexterity, how smooth your lines can go. You're going to notice a huge improvement, and that's just from 5 minutes a day. So if you liked this, go ahead and maybe try and do a mandala once a day for a week, and tune in next week with me. And I think I'm going to be doing this next Thursday. Next Thursday, I'll be doing another little live stream here with some little drawing tips. So thank you guys for joining me. And that's about all I have for you guys today. I actually like this little mandala. I think that this is super fun. It took us, what time is it? I don't even know. It took us no more than like 5 or 10 minutes. It's 8 o'clock. So yeah, thanks for joining me. I appreciate the support. If you liked this video, will you please do me a favor and share it on your feed? Maybe send it in a direct message to a friend who you think might enjoy the video. Somebody who's bored at home, maybe hasn't been drawing. You never know who's going to want to pick up a pen and do a little doodle. So if you can, I'd totally appreciate the share. I'm trying to get the word out, help you guys have some fun. And you're welcome. Melody says thank you. I appreciate you all.